It's time to catch up on the latest One Piece chapters. What's up, YouTubers of the world? Making Geek Mixer here, ready to give you guys my talk and thoughts on the last 3 issues of One Piece. I'm sorry that I've been gone from that, but with all sorts of other videos getting in the way of that, it had to get to the point to where I needed to find an opening and review these last 3 chapters. And luckily, with One Piece on break, I finally got my chance. So I'm going to break this down as best I can here. Why don't we start off with some of the small things, and then we'll talk about the main big thing that happened with all 3 of these chapters that connects with all 3 of these chapters. We'll talk about that. But first, we'll discuss something, the fact that Law has left the Straw Hats to go rescue his crew, all because he feels betrayed by the fact that Shinobu would accuse his crew of selling them out, when I'm pretty sure we all know that that's not the case. But yeah, because of Shinobu doing that, and while we all may understand Shinobu and this 20 years of waiting, I'm pretty sure even I admitted that still, you shouldn't be saying stuff like that, and you need to keep the allies you can get here, especially powerful ones such as Law. So, but I still feel that eventually he'll still be coming back, and he'll still end up joining the crew and taking down Kaido, because after everything we've learned about with what Kaido does, and not to mention Orochi, especially Orochi, no doubt he will be back. But not only that, but we also find out that while he is still training on learning the Bishoku Haki, which we also learn in Wano, like, you know how back in Skypiea, the Kinbishoku Haki, the one that, the collar of observation, and Sky Island, Skypiea, it was called Mantara. Well, that's how it is in Wano. Wano has the name for Bishoku Haki, the armament Haki. They call it Ryu, and right now, Luffy's still training on how to use it, but he's still not quite getting it yet. However, though, he is starting to find himself some allies, such as that, Carbia, or whatever his name is. He's that swamp guy who tried to follow and attack the Straw Hats back on Fishman Island. Yeah, I forget his name, but he has the power of the swamp fruit, so I'm pretty sure you guys know who I'm talking about. And at first, Luffy wasn't happy to see him, but after that guy said he'll be his subordinate, and since Luffy was so easily convinced, he started to think, am I getting tricked here? Maybe not, because the thing about Luffy is he's unpredictable. You never know what to expect with this kid. But yeah, also, Luffy has met back up with Razu, who revealed, and it turns out Razu also knew Hyogo, the one who's with Luffy. So yeah, no surprise there. It wouldn't surprise me that there's lots of people here and there that everyone from Kinemon, Kanjuro, Shinobu, and many others know about who. But while they were talking, it's discovered that Yudo has like 5 prisons, like it's an island and it's linked up. And there's 5 prisoners, and there's 5 prisons linked together. And some of those prisons actually have rebels. They actually have rebels, meaning there are still many more allies that they can find, even within the prison. That's good. That's great, especially for Luffy. He'll need some good allies and army to get himself ready. I mean, sure, the Straw Hats are trying to find some people and allies and an army to be ready to take on to Orochi and Kaido when the time comes. But if he can get some more prisoners in that prison island, then yes, this will be great. I bet you maybe we might even run into some other characters we might know in that prison. Maybe not, but even still, what if we could run into some other people like we may have heard of before but never were told about? That could be cool. Or maybe someone from the Grand Fleet's been captured from a Straw Hat Grand Fleet. I highly doubt it, but you never know. Also, Shuntamaru, the one who Kaido's been trying to recruit, and the one who we found out is Ashira. I forget the full name, but he was one of the 9 samurais, one of the few samurais that Kinemon was looking for. Although since Kozuki had died, he had completely broken off his ties with them. But now he's out there again, and this time he's going after Hold'em, all because he feels that someone has attacked his home his base, and he thinks it's Hold'em. But Hold'em knows he's coming and is planning on beating him down. But was Hold'em the one that did it? He's not really saying he did or didn't, so that's still left up in the air. And then there was the fact that Brook reunited with Zoro, and boy did he catch Zoro in a way that made him feel jealous. And that was in the fact that, now y'all know Momonosuke, he has a sister, and yeah, I've already talked to you guys about his sister and how she's been hanging around Zoro. Well, she was sleeping right by Zoro. And of course Zoro waking up being like, what the heck are you doing? Why are you sleeping near me like that? And she's like, oh, but I'm sorry, I just fell asleep. But I don't see why you're so mad. Some people would usually be happy that they're sleeping by me. Well, Zoro is not one of those people. I can definitely tell you Sanji would be one of those people. He would be like, if this is a dream, please don't wake me up. But no, Zoro, he's not like that. And neither is Luffy. Knowing Luffy and Zoro, Luffy would have probably just been like Zoro, or he would have been like, oh, why was she sleeping by me and stuff? Or something like that, I don't know. But all I know is Zoro and Luffy wouldn't have been like how Sanji, Brook, or even Kinemon. Yeah, Kinemon would have been if they were sleeping by a beautiful woman like her. But with all that now said and done, those are pretty much all the small bits you need to know. Now we go into the big one of it all that really talks about everything that happened within these last 3 chapters. And that deals with the guy that Zoro had met a while back. His name was Yasu, but his real name turns out it is actually, let me see here, Shimotsuki Yasui. I hope I said that name right. I really hope I said that name. If I did, I'm sorry I butchered that name. But I'm gonna go with Tonayasu because that's easier to say. But his real name was the one I said earlier, the one that I think I might have butchered there. It turns out though that this guy, now when you look at him, you look at this guy and he was just pretty much somebody that was like a Robin Hood person, robbing from the rich and giving to the poor, and they were talking about that, and they were thinking it was someone else, and maybe it is someone else, but I highly doubt it. It seems like it's Tonayasu. That was part of that story because he just helps out whoever he can. And you would think that he was probably this random dude, and even I was suspecting that maybe he was the one that accidentally let the info get leaked out there that the rebel crest was being exposed. And and it turns out I was wrong. And I'm glad I was wrong because he didn't really look like he would have done that. But what he did at the end of everything that was happening in these 3 chapters, man, I can't say I can't hate this guy. Mad respect and props for this guy for what he did. But before I get into that, it turns out that he actually was known by a couple of people, by Shinobu, Kanjuro, and Orochi. And yeah, when Orochi found out about him through his real name, he got all excited and went to the execution stage where he was going to be executed. And he was being executed right above the prison where they were throwing people in who had the rebel crest and everything. And it turns out this Tonoyasu guy was actually a daimyo who served the Kazuki family and would have no doubt been the next Kazuki, like the next Shogun, my bad, Shogun. And it seemed he also know Kazuki Oden Kazuki. but with that whole rebellion thing with Kaido and Orochi, it ended up didn't happen, and he ended up having to go into hiding, just like many others. So yeah, no surprise there. He's pretty much like Hayagoro, somebody who was all powerful and stuff, but now he's kind of in that weak state. But even still, he still has spirit in him. Because here's the thing, even though he was captured and was going to be executed, before he got executed, he decided to lie to everyone in public and about he being responsible for creating the rebel crest and everything. And it was really done to, no doubt, to rise people's spirits to stand up to Orochi, but also put in doubt about Orochi. Because here's the thing, he's trying to put in that doubt about how Orochi's being a coward and making up all these lies because he's scared, which he really is, and he's just trying to use a little psychological strategy, and it might seem to be working here because some people are already seeming to show doubts about Orochi here, and that's good. But Orochi is trying to waste no time. He's not going to let anything stop him from letting anybody stop him from saying who he is, the Shogun. So he ends up eventually executing this Tonoyasu guy, who, by the way, I forgot to mention is Toko's father. Yeah, that little girl that's been with Momonosuke's sister. Yeah, that's that, what was her name? Oh yeah, Toko, and I just said that earlier. Why do you just leave my head like that? But either case, Toko is the daughter of this guy Tonoyasu, who was the former daimyo. Well, with the execution, everybody, and here's the thing, he was part of that place, Ibisu town where Zoro was at, and here's what's so interesting, all those people, as he was being executed, they were all running to the capital. It's supposed to be restricted for them. They're not supposed to be in the capital, but they didn't care, and they were able to mile right through some of those guards just to get there and try to rescue him. Of course, they couldn't be able to, but this is where we got into something very interesting, which really, no surprise really about it, and that was in the fact we learned more about the Smile Devil Fruits. It turns out that now when he got executed, Toko, along with many others who know about Tonoyasu, all were starting to cry, but they couldn't smile, and it looked like, here's the thing, oh yeah, and Zoro was there along with Momonosuke's sister seeing the execution, and he was thinking they were all laughing, when in reality they weren't. They were really crying, they were really hurting and crying and sad. Unfortunately, they're only forced to smile. Why? Because of the Smile Fruits. Yes. In other words, like, when you eat that Smile Fruit, do you get devil fruits? Well, yeah, but it looks like it also has the effect of making you be forced to smile no matter what. No matter if you're angry, sad, or anything that's the opposite of smile, but instead, you're just going to be smiling all the time. That's very interesting. It makes you wonder what more is with these smiles. Because now we know for a fact that Kaido made these Smile Fruits to create artificial devil fruits for an army of zone-type devil fruit users. But not only that, it seems like he also did this to get into some slavery or bluffing or something like that, like a front to make people think that these citizens are all happy and stuff. In other words, to get people out their chest, to make it look like nothing is going to happen. All is good and well. And that seems to be the case here. But what's definitely more going to happen now is that with the smiles now exposed, I wonder if there's a way to cure it. That's where they're no doubt going to need to get Chopper on there to look for a cure on that end. And I'm no doubt he'll find a way. And speaking of Chopper, as I'm not sure if I mentioned this in my last review, but Big Mom's over on Prison Island and Udon, where Luffy is at, and one's gotta wonder what will happen now that she's over there. Only time will tell, but definitely, guys, for these 3 chapters, we were learning a lot more history into what's happening with Wano, and more foreshadowings of what we could see more. Like, how for one, maybe some of these people who went into hiding after the whole incident that happened back 20 years ago, like Shintamaru and many others, their spirits will now be lifted and they'll actually join the rebellion because of Tonoyasu's sacrifice, because of the bravery he showed by standing up to Orochi and Kaido and showing these people not to be feared by him. So yes, this is definitely an interesting take with what we're getting right now, and I'm definitely loving where we're going here, and I can't wait to see more as we continue to move on and on to the next phase of what's coming in the Wano Country arc. Definitely look forward to more of it. But in any case, guys, that'll be all for today. And if you're enjoying my videos, all you gotta do is click that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon to be notified when I make more videos. And until then, Mega Geek Mixer signing out. Bye!